No doubt that Iqbal raised the question about epistemology, which remain to be one of the crucial questions of modern Islamic philosophical thought. But it should be mentioned that today we have many different positions relating to the question. Very metaphysic, traditional, represented by, for example, say Nasr and Atas, on the line of Iqbal as you presented it. And on the same time, you have a totally opposite position taken by, for example, Muhammad Arkoun, Hanafi, Al-Jabri, who arguing altogether against the metaphysics and traditional thought and taking position of the historicity and hermeneutic as an approach to the knowledge. And as Jürgen mentioned, for example, Abdul Karim Soroush, trying to combine exactly elements from the traditional thought, from Islamic, from Sufism and modern Western rationalism. He combined, in the fact, Rumi and Popper, which is very interesting. So you have many different positions. My question is much more about how do we understand the influence of epistemology on the society, on our view and understanding of society. And more precisely about the Iqbal's view on modern society. Does the integration of different culture, as you mentioned before, suppose a new model of society? Am I wrong that he had some observation, reflection on the modern Turkey, Atatürk? And you mentioned that he was against associating Islam with the nationality, but Atatürk was to create a modern national state. What was the Iqbal's, how did he evaluate the development in the modern Turkey, which is a kind of breaking with the traditional society? So, yeah.
I think that there are 2 or 3 major currents going on. One is the conventional one, second is the Iqbal's part, and third is the traditional one. Iqbal's point was very clear. In Turkey, he said that they have eliminated caliphate. He says it is in the spirit of the republican spirit of Islam that the political power cannot be vested in one man who is the caliph. And it has gone to the elected assembly. He says it is more in spirit with the Islamic republican spirit of Islam. What Iqbal had in his mind was that they were trying to remove that laws of inheritance. They were trying to tinker with the family laws of Islam. And Iqbal said that in your zeal to bring modernism, you must try to understand that our institutions are linked up with a religious or a metaphysical principle. And in us, the state and church are not separated. They are tied in a single revelation. They are united in a single revelation. So Iqbal agreed where their outlook was in consonance with their traditional principle, and he disagreed with them, which he calls their youthful fervor, where they went ahead in violating that principle. So one thing. Secondly is that coming back to the point of Kant and other people, you asked me about the role of epistemology in a culture. I think it is a very important role. A culture which denies, I am not talking of one philosopher's point of view or second, I am talking of the general trend. A culture which considers the problem of God, freedom and immortality in such a casual way as Kant took it in his critique of pure reason and in his critique of practical reason and in his critique of judgment. I tell you that this thinking has to come into mind that for a traditional society, the question of God, the question of freedom, the question of immortality, the question of metaphysics cannot be taken in such easy or a casual way. And this is the reason that a society which destroys its links with heavens, it has then I would say then it is oriented to the things of the world, and the infinite element is broken. and it has its impacts on social sciences, on arts, on humanities. And you see that Schwann or Titus Burckhardt, Martin Linz, and Ibrahim Izzuddin, and all these people who after the 50s were in the West, they have rediscovered the Islamic spirituality and brought the traditional aspects of art. They have given the finest critique of psychology. I am a student of psychology. There are 350, more than 350 theories of human personality, neurosis, psychosis, and the man is still not understandable. What the problem is that metaphysics as understood in the West is not that what it is understood in the East. Metaphysics was there because in Western philosophy, metaphysics is part of philosophy, whereas in the East, philosophy is part of metaphysics. And when we talk of Buddhist ethics, when we talk of Taoism, when we talk of the pure metaphysics of the Hindus, that is entirely different from the Western one. My point is not pessimism. My point is simple. My point is this, that we first must understand each other and then integrate ourselves. If you are talking of a social institution and you say that the family life is autonomous, you are talking to a traditional man who thinks that the family life is not autonomous, the social institution is not autonomous, the cultural institution is not autonomous. We must first understand each other in order to become one and save